All right, well, let's get it started with the wickiness, the John Wickiness. So it stars Keanu Reeves.
It did.
Why don't you give us a little bit of an overview? Ben, why don't you start?
Well, basically, he's...
And while you do that, I'm going to pull up Wikipedia so I can pretend to know a lot more about it than I actually do.
His wife dies of some disease. We weren't sure exactly what.
It's basically Up.
Yeah.
For the first 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah.
And then after the funeral, he gets a package that she set up for him to have, and it's a little puppy. And it's supposed to help him get through the grieving process.
Yeah, it happened to be just like one of the cutest little puppy dogs ever.
It had to be.
What was the casting for that puppy like, I wonder? How many puppies did they go through before they selected that one?
I like to believe that each time a dog came in and they were like, nope, they just snapped its neck and and they're like, bring in the next puppy dog.
Well, that was part of the audition, is they had to go ahead.
Right.
But then somebody sees his car, these Russian mafia guys, and they end up wanting to buy it from him, but he won't let him, so they break into his house.
Well, it's Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah,
is one of the monsters.
I couldn't remember his name. I was just like the guy that got his dick cut off.
There were like there were like 3 or 4 people from the Game of Thrones in it, so that was kind of cool.
Okay, so let's take a pause right here because I'd like to comment on
a puppy dog pause.
A puppy dog pause.
Can I get a drummer guy? Can I get a ching?
Doo-doo.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. So why again did they feel it necessary to come to his house, bash his face in, and kill his puppy before the car? I never really figured out there's anything deeper than that, or we just wanted to start the action.
Start the action, and probably just because they're assholes. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be real though, it was over for me when the dog died.
That's what I know people that can't watch the film, they're like, as soon as that happened. Now, I will tell you, Emmeline, that it's a movie. They did not really kill the dog.
Only the auditions that kill the dogs in auditions.
It doesn't help.
What's interesting, though, is...
It's like House of Cards. I didn't see them kill the dog, and I still couldn't get past
you were telling me about that. If an animal gets injured, Emmeline is out.
No, animal deaths, I can't... The end.
So when you're watching the Muppets, there was that really tragic episode where their drummer dies of lung failure.
Yep, that's it.
And that was an animal death, and you couldn't get through that one? Okay. That was the hardest part of Muppets.
What about Cujo? Cujo, were you okay with Cujo dying? No? Okay.
What about when they killed Godzilla? He's an animal.
It's really...
In bed.
There we go.
Well, what's interesting is this film and films that do that.
Yeah.
Normally, you have a thing Blake Snyder writes. It's called "Save the Cat," where if you want to make the good guy, even if he's dislikable or the one thing you can do to make people like him is if he saves a cat or pets a cat or rubs a dog at the beginning. You go, oh, he's kind to animals. That immediately puts you on side. So they just went the opposite way. They're like, okay, let's not make John Wick likable. Let's just make the other guy so bad, even the son of a bitch assassin becomes the good guy.
Yeah, right.
So instead of saving the cat, they killed the dog. And I was like, oh, that's... Because they do that in the movie Insomnia, the original Czechoslovakian one. They need to test whether a bullet came from a gun or not, and he walks up and he shoots a dog. And that was the first time I think I ever saw one, in a movie where they killed a dog. I was like, oh my God, that was a little more intense than I
So for the American version... For the American version, they pushed out and
it was
the
a
dead
dog already. Yeah,
but it is. I mean, it makes you wonder as a cinematic decision, because that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah.
When you kill a dog, you have
it
to
really
know.
makes you.
You have
hate that character.
Well, also you have to know that you're alienating a certain amount of your audience. Like you have to really know
I'll tell
who you want your target audience to be before you make a step like that.
It was a calculated
bloodthirsty young men. That's my audience at all times.
Exactly.
No, I guarantee it was a calculated decision of we don't want the good guy to be likable in any way. The only way to do that is to have the bad guy do something so despicable that by default the other guy becomes the hero without ever doing anything good, and that's how they chose to do it. Now, when we're talking about this, I get the feeling that there's no real. This is just a flimsy premise, so that you can have 387 headshots in a film. Because
do I have an actual figure on that?
I don't. You don't look that up because I felt like I was watching the Oprah of headshots. It's like and you get a headshot and you get a headshot. There were like 2 guys. One guy gets his neck broke, and the other one I think he throws off a building.
Yeah.
Every other person gets a gunshot to the head.
He probably shot them in the head after the scene was over, and we just
he just went back and bobbed him one.
He was was basically Jackie Chan with a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing is,
Yeah.
it's like they saw the Matrix and they were like, you know what, that guy, like, okay, probably we should not worry too much about giving him a plot, but if we give him some guns, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good movie.
Well, it was.
Don't give them the opportunity to cry.
It was
Yeah.
equilibrium. You know.
Don't ask him
I actually
questions
thought we were
about
talking
space
about
and
the
time. Give him a gun, let him shoot some
I
people.
didn't see that second one. So
Yeah, do you remember?
I-
Yeah, do you remember the part in number 2 when they kill all those dogs? He's just Neo's walking by, just snapping dog necks left and right. So
If I saw the whole movie, it's a safe bet that they didn't kill an animal. Like, but this one, I was like,
Yeah, his wife almost didn't make it through that scene.
Yeah, that was very
Yeah.
beginning. She was like, I hate this. I don't want to watch this.
it's I mean, like that's the fastest way to
the
Imagine-
only reason I was actually able to get through it is because I had heard somebody refer to the movie as "I'm going to kill everyone because you killed my dog," and I was like, okay, the bad guys kill a dog in the movie, so I was totally prepared for that to happen. So like, luckily it wasn't this big show. It wasn't like Up or like
gotta warn
I'm
me.
expecting this happy movie,
gotta warn me.
and 10 minutes in I'm
So-
bawling next to my best friend. We're both like, we're grown men, we're crying, you know. So I was a little.
I Am
least prepared
Legend.
for
That was the other one that no.
what happens in that. I never saw it because
Kills
Oh.
a cat to eat it.
Oh,
wait,
really?
no, I'm thinking of Eli.
That was a dream you had.
You're thinking of very
Book of Eli.
You're thinking of Cosby's new stand-up act.
Yeah, no, sorry, wrong black actor, wrong movie.
Gotcha.
A man and his dog.
yeah. I
Or
can
man bites dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so let's talk about the action though in John Wick. As far as action films go, I was pretty excited through most of
I didn't get bored. I
Yeah,
really
the
that's-
action-
that's
the
true.
action was pretty good.
the scene where he goes into the restaurant and he's slowly methodically taking guys out before he gets caught. Probably one of my favorite shots is when the guy with the beard who looks so intimidating, he's bald, he has this beard, and he looks like he's going to be called, you know, like essentially the dragon of the movie, or he's going to be the big baddie or something like that. No, he just grabs him by his beard and whips him around. It's like, you know what's so tough with that beard? Now it's being used against you.
Right.
And then, you know, popped him one in the head. But, yeah, even he got one too. So that was good. But, and my other favorite one was where they show him that I really appreciate movies do this, that after about 12 or 13 shots every time he would load a new cartridge. So it wasn't like endless bullets that kind of drive me nuts.
But endless cartridges.
Endless cartridge, sure, they have that. So there was the one.
Cargo pants. That's all you need.
Pulled them out of the Matrix.
Right, yeah. Or he would pick them
In
up
those
from the other
other
guys. Like as he
dimensions.
would shoot people, he would grab their gun and continue on. But I really like the one he's holding this guy and he goes to shoot him in the face and the gun goes click. So like while the guy's struggling, he drops the cartridge, takes another one, loads it, and then shoots him in the face. Like like. I was like, that's cool. I've never seen
Realism
that.
is what that's called.
Yeah, he had to sit there for 5 seconds and hold a guy off while he reloaded to shoot him in the face.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I thought the scene where he was like in the hallway with that guy trying to push the knife into him. And
That was
Yeah.
really intense.
That's
Yeah.
pretty intense, man.
That was like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
almost there.
yeah.
That was really good. So this movie is just other movies cobbled together.
Yeah, pretty much.
I kind of feel like what they did though is they were like, okay, so Keanu, you shot the lake house, man. Exactly. How do you feel like you're going to redeem yourself in the eyes of all of these men out there? And he was like, "Give me a gun.
You know,
Give me
normally,
a gun, and I got this."
yeah,
And a
because
bunch of
normally
stunt
he's he's known for being like he lives in like a 1-bedroom apartment. He
Right.
donates like 80% of his money to charity.
That's awesome.
Because his sister died of breast cancer, I believe, or cancer. So he lives on like very modest. He's known like in The Matrix, he gave 60% of his salary to the special effects crews when they didn't get a bonus, and he just gave them like it was like $6 million to spread them on the crew. So he's known for being a really nice guy. And every time you see him in interviews, he's always very philosophical. You can tell he reads a lot, and you know he reads a lot of philosophy. And for this one, I was expecting that when in an interview, and they're like, "So tell us what it was like shooting John Wick." He's like, "It was so cool. I got to like spin a car in circles and shoot guys." He's like, "It was a dream come true." And I was like, "That's the first time I've ever seen him like." Because normally he's just so passive,
Yeah.
and he was like just stoked about the amount of action.
He
in the
spoke
film.
very little in the film. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
all
he did.
dialogue.
It was yeah. He what is this? Who would call me? My girlfriend knows I'm doing a show live.
Was that Piazzolla on your ringtone?
Yeah, I think it's so. It's I can't remember which one it was. It sounds like much like the melodica one. It's my favorite instrument or an
Yeah,
accordion.
concertina.
I like that sound of the walking down the French or Parisian streets and hearing that sound. So
It does sound great on air.
does it? Oh.
Very professional.
So okay, interesting aspect on John Wick there. Dell's phone rings. All right, what were some critiques? Anybody?
One thing I felt is a million movies have done the, oh, my wife is dead, I have to seek vengeance for that. I feel like they just kind of took a sidestep and like, well, we can't do that again.
So they made it about the dog.
They
that
made it more
last
like his wife had
gift.
just died, so he still had that, like, you know, it couldn't have just been about the dog, or that would have just been...
Right, yeah, I mean, it is his, you're right. He's basically killing them because he's angry his wife is
Right.
dead, but he transfers that through the dog to be
Yeah.
able to keep it a little
Just
fresh.
seemed like an unnecessary tool, but I mean, it's just it is what it is. It was a good action flick.
Yeah,
and it was
because
the reason to get behind the guy.
Exactly.
you
I
know.
think it was, here's all these really cool action scenes. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just give a story that does it.
I feel like they should have used Willem Dafoe a little more, though.
He was, that was a nice
I-
You should always use William Dafoe more.
I want that kind of guardian angel. I want some
Right?
sniper who just
Yeah.
sits there anytime I get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, spoilers for the
Oh,
last
you didn't
10
get my
minutes.
chicken nugget order right?
So, how does it end? I haven't seen this movie, so can we just talk about how it ends?
It turns out
Everybody cuddles together.
Turns out they're both Tyler Durden. Which I felt was just a ripoff of Fight Club. I'm like, yeah, this is, yeah.
In
And-
my mind, the dog came back.
Well, he actually
Exactly.
ends up all wounded, and he goes into like some animal shelter or whatever, and fixes himself up,
He-
and then
he
takes
steals
home like a
somebody.
He
pit
takes
bull.
him a different
Yep.
one, which is I thought was an interesting metaphor that the dog they killed at the beginning is a hound, known for hunting and
Yeah.
relentless hunting, and like that's the dog that gets killed. Then he goes on this hunting, vengeful aspect, and then the dog he takes home is a pit bull, thought to be very dangerous, but actually they're
Very
really
dangerous.
Sweet.
they're really sweet. And so I thought that was a nice metaphor of the hound is gone. The pit bull that you think is dangerous has now been kind of pacified and lowered. So I thought that was cool. Although he does leave all the other dogs in the cage.
He does.
Which I thought
They're all
was-
getting to be glue. You make dogs into glue,
Yeah,
right?
you can make dogs into anything if you try hard enough. Trust me. So, you can make dogs into movie stars. Watch everybody.
I'm so finished with this conversation. Oh my god!
But you know, one thing I would have liked to have seen, Emmeline, you probably would like this too, is like, you know, the shot comes, you know, the sniper shot comes through, and John Wick should have looked up, and it should have been his puppy dog with the sniper rifle. Yeah. You're like, holy shit, the dog came back.
It's a very like all dogs go to heaven kind of twist.
Or even better, like Willem Dafoe takes the shot, and just I'd love would be great. Willem Dafoe takes the shot, and then he looks to his right, and the puppy dog's like, "Good shot, Willem Dafoe."
Yeah.
Wink. And Willem Dafoe's like, "Yeah, right, puppy dog." Wink. Thumbs up. I'd have been like, "Yeah." There's
Any
no reason for
interaction
that.
with Willem Dafoe and a puppy dog, I'm like, I'm down.
I
Let's
want
do
to
it.
see them team up as a Tango and Cash. That was a dog in person movie,
Turner
right?
and Hooch. Why can't you do it?
Turner and Hooch.
No, what am I thinking? Tango and Cash. That's
Tango and Cash was
Sylvester
Stallone.
and a dog,
Russell.
right? Yeah, Kurt Russell, the dog. Kurt Russell. Who they trained? They must have
That's
peanut butter
Kurt
on his
Russell
lips
Terrier.
because it looked like he was talking the whole
Right, it
time.
was amazing.
Can make them into movies.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, so I think my only critique, and we talked about this in the end. One of the other things I like to see, he wears black throughout most of the film, but strategically, the best color for actually stalking people is a dark blue, like a navy blue. It actually blends better at night. Black actually stands out at night. I said,
I was just asking an expert.
And so there's a reason why SWAT military and everything like that is actually a really dark blue. It actually blends better in moonlight and darkness. Black actually stands out as too dark. So he's wearing black the whole movie until the final scene where he confronts the bad guy, and he's changed to a dark blue suit, and they have the fight outside. And I was like, surely that was intentional from wardrobe, that they go from scary to even more like harder to see, menacing, where the other guy has like a white shirt on. It's very noticeable.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. My only complaint was that since it's been gunplay the whole movie, and the last guy is a knife fight, then they had a history. Matt and I talked about this. It would have been cool at one point in the film to show a flashback that the first time he and this other guy, even not the first time, but years ago,
Right.
knife play was involved in their relationship somehow. Like they would play darts, or they would hold up their hand and they would throw darts around their hands, or they would do the knife thing, just so like there was the reason the knife comes back in, because it
There was
almost
a
seemed
reason behind
wildly,
it,
yeah, it was
yeah.
just like why all of a sudden
think-
there's a knife fight at the
But
end.
I mean, a knife shows
There were
more
no more
aggression.
bullets.
Right, and so
Because
the
you
intensity.
need, I was gonna say, I mean, you need a lot of rage to stab somebody.
Yeah.
Guns. There are lots of gun accidents
Right.
that happen all the time. So I mean, clearly not if you have that many
Well,
cartridges.
I understand. I understand the
That's not an
emotional
accident.
reason. I just
Right.
it would have nice to see just something near the beginning that would have just tied that story wise together a little more. There was a reason knives were involved.
I think that's a personal statement, though. I mean, like that's. you cut my heart out when you killed my dog. I'm
Yeah.
gonna cut your face off. Like I think
There's
that
more passion behind
exactly.
a knife killing.
Yeah, and
I think
when he-
it's a loaded weapon
Yeah.
in a different way. Like it's an emotionally loaded weapon.
All that's true except for the fact that Keanu didn't bring the knife.
There
The other
was-
guy brought the knife.
yeah.
There was that one point when he was staring that guy right down, like right in his eyes whenever he was.
Well, that's
that
and
was
that's the
very
other
personal.
scene that I liked.
I thought that was
one
pretty
of those.
cool.
Yeah. Again, I would have liked to have seen a scene at the end where he's like, trying to go for it, and he's like, no, and he's like slowly stabbing the guy, and he's like, puppy dog, help me out, and the puppy dog's like, and he throws him the knife end over end. He's like, right on, puppy dog, wink. Yeah, there should have been more.
This should have been a blaxploitation film.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
There should have been more of
For the
like
dog.
looking at the puppy dog and winking as the dog comes back to life for important scenes.
Would it be
Would it be
maybe
like the ghost of the puppy dog, like Lucas,
maybe
like George
help
Lucas
me,
style?
ghost the puppy dog.
Could have been more like a Wilfred type ghost too. That way, like
Oh, yeah.
The
like
dog
that.
should have possessed the bad guy, just so at the end of the movie, the bad guy's like, running around. You're like, suddenly it becomes a supernatural.
But you can't
flick.
demonize the puppy dog, because if you demonize the puppy dog, then you take away from the good course of action that's going on. Because if the
Who
puppy,
demonized the puppy dog?
if he's possessing people,
the bad
There are
guy.
good possessions
That's the sequel. That's
in the movie. There could be good possessions. I'm sure. I think you've got possession is just all negative. Surely you could possess somebody and then kill a mugger.
I think it's when you possess a villain that it becomes.
Oh, maybe okay. Then maybe that's it.
Also, then he's just killing the dog that he's trying to create.
No, because then
vengeance
right as he
for.
goes to kill him, the dog leaps out and he's like, "Right on, ghost dog." Wink. So, no, it was I thought it was a fun action flick. I would definitely recommend it. Usually, action flicks I get really bored.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, it's just
No, they
got to
just blow a bunch of stuff up.
Yeah, this was the only one where like it actually, I was interested the whole time. I kept wanting to know where it was going to go.
I like the fact that when they pushed those cars over that rail. Speaking of blowing things up, they
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
actually just blow up. They just fell.
Yeah, that was the other
Yeah.
thing. Is, I was so glad there was so little CGI. A
Yeah.
few of the gunshots were, but it looked like for the most part they used squibs. And when they did the cars, you say what you want about Matrix 2, but when they do that car chase scene, they're literally flipping cars on a highway at 60 miles an hour. There's something rewarding about seeing the practical special
Yeah.
effect than all the crappy CGI. I'm just so sick of CGI. So to see them do all the car wrecks, with like stunt actors and stuff, that was refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when he slams into that one part, like, oh,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
that looked
Yeah.
like that hurt.
it looked
know?
real.
Anything to say? Critiques? Anybody else got something you would have changed? Obviously, not the dog dying. That would be.
We
something
got to
I would
review a
change.
movie where animals don't die.
Okay, no. Name me one. One movie. Bambi. We'll do Bambi.
The Lake
okay.
House.
Okay, yeah. Bambi. We'll do Bambi meets Godzilla. Have y'all ever seen that?
God.
Oh, really? Y'all haven't? It's a short film. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and run it. People at home, go home and look up Bambi meets Godzilla. It's just an animated picture of Bambi eating grass. And as it's eating grass, it says...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler. It says
Really?
written by so and so, and it's directed by, and it's the same guy. Story by so and so. It's the same guy for every name. Then it goes storyboards by, composition by, artificial lighting by,
That's awesome.
special effects by, and it goes through maybe 2 full minutes of everything you could think of, and then at the end it says how it began, and Bambi's still eating the little grass. Then this giant foot just squishes Bambi, and it says the end, and then it rolls the credits of that same guy's name the entire time. It's like one of the best 4-minute films I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
So that was pretty good. So
You know what other film no animals die in?
what?
That was the worst
All dogs go to
constructed
heaven?
sentence in all time. No, Team America. Humans don't die in that either. It's all puppets.
It's all puppets. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, technically, nobody dies in any movies except for, I guess, The Crow. there's that one because they're all characters.
It's still too soon. Oh,
I heard they were making a remake of that film, the original Crow.
I wouldn't want to star in.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
who would sign on for that?
Yeah.
So
People without any
no dog
sort of
killing. Matt, those are any
self-preservation
other critiques you would give it?
I enjoyed the dog killing, but I didn't. Just kidding. I love animals. Just a joke. Just a joke.
I actually felt bad. I looked over. I have a pit bull. When they broke the dog's neck, she was like sitting in my lap, and I was like, "I'm sorry. You shouldn't have had to see that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I felt really bad."
I'd say it's a watch, and if you want to watch another revenge movie, if we want to do that thing, I'd say watch Old Boy. It's another
Oh,
great
yeah.
revenge
Yeah,
film
that's
that's
a
out there.
really good-
There's no dogs.
The
No
original-
dogs.
the
Taken 1,
original.
2, and 3.
I've seen them
Good
all.
revenge
Yes.
movies.
You know, somebody pointed out that they should do a Taken 4, and it should be called Taken for Granted, where none of the people appreciate all the things he's done for them. I was like, you know what? I would watch the shit out of that movie. I have rescued you and your mother how many times, and you won't even give me my paper in the morning. I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So, Emmeline,
Yes.
I know that there's the scene that you, but would you give it a watch? Would you recommend it to anybody else? No, if you could tell them, hey, a dog dies, and if you're okay, if you can get past that,
I
how would you
can't get
say
past it.
Okay.
I can't. That's the. Oh.
I understand.
I see. I've grown up with dogs, and I have a dog who I rescued, who is like my baby.
Yeah.
Like, if I had no,
Every dog I've
I
ever
have-
owned has been a yeah.
I have an Instagram account, and if I had no self-restraint, it would just be pictures of her, like over
You
and
should
over.
do that. I would get on Instagram to see that. I
Yeah,
think.
she's so wonderful, and every time
What kind of dog?
She's a mutt. She's
There's
a
no
black
dog?
lab. Her name is Chloe. She's a black lab mix. Everybody who's listening who knows me is like, oh god, I got her started on the dog. No, but she just, and I like, it breaks my heart to walk into shelters just because you can't take them all home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like if you know,
And that's where you're rewarded for
If I
being the
didn't-
cute one.
if I didn't have
Exactly.
enough. No, she's a black dog actually, which
Whoa.
Oh, wait, disclaimer.
And you love her anyway.
there's statistics that say that people don't take black dogs home as much.
larger, larger
crazy?
dogs, and the darker the color.
Yeah,
they don't-
exactly.
they don't go
People assume that they're aggressive
Will
because
you-
they're darker in color or they're bigger.
Will
and
you
so she's
please
a
get
big
her to
black
grow
dog.
a flat top? I would love
Should.
that.
Actually, her ears when they stand up kind of make a little
Do
flat
they?
top.
She wears her fur really
Going
low
as
on
kid
her
and play
hips.
next year for Halloween.
Does she's into the low jean? No, but to anybody who's listening and is also mortified by the death of the animal who wants to go and put some good out into the world, the Dallas Animal Shelter actually has VIP dogs that have been there for a really
Yeah.
long time that are about to be euthanized. So if you go, get a dog with a VIP tag.
14 days, right?
Yeah, there's normally it's
'Cause that's where we
96
got-
hours. I actually shot a documentary in college called 96 Hours
Really?
where we went. It was a kill shelter, and they had 96. And there were some dogs that even the staff was like, "We don't know why they're not. We're going to give them a pass."
Yeah.
Just because they were like, "This is a dog that should normally have been adopted. We just don't know why it meets all the qualifications.
Yeah.
That's
they
how we-
won't. They won't actually euthanize it. They will give them a stay." To continue, but usually
Does the
small
governor have to
dogs-
call?
Well, they also well, and they try and take them to different shelters
Yeah.
so that they can kind of increase their time. But mine was in the shelter for 6 months
Wow, that's
before she
that's
was
hard.
adopted.
Oh,
So,
that's where
but
we got-
she's happy now. She's lived with me for 4 years.
That's where we got our. That's how we got our dog Effie. She was on one of those lists there, and so
Yeah.
my girlfriend and her job had volunteered up there because her boss is like on the city council. She's a lawyer, and
Yeah.
she like is an advocate for that place, and so she went and volunteered, and she saw Effie, and then we went and adopted her.
I'll say this:
have
that
3 dogs,
one of the things I was
almost.
surprised when I shot it, and if you can
Yeah.
find the film, it's called 96 Hours. It won a Student Academy Award. When we
Wow,
did it.
look at you.
I think it's on.
I definitely think we should do 96 hours.
So guys, we're in the presence of greatness here.
Yeah, 69 hours will be the porno version. All doggy sex. But no, one of the things is we.
We're taking such a good, hearted turn. I was feeling so good. I was like, sneakily, I managed to bring it back to a place where we're all like
Well,
happy
I'm
and warm
going there.
and shit. No,
I'm about to get there.
And then
There we go.
bestiality.
Didn't take long.
But I was gonna say is I
Aw.
expected the people to be kind of cold and heartless, and they're
Yeah.
not.
No.
Surprisingly, they're like, look, if I'm gonna be with an animal that has just a few days left, they're the people that really love them. And there
Yeah.
was a guy named Cody, and he was the one in charge every Tuesday of putting down the animals, and he couldn't stand the one. He got sick one time during the filming, and it broke his heart that he wasn't there to put them down because he was like, I don't know if they're gonna do it right. I don't know if like it just worried him that even he would rather be there for their last few moments than anybody else, even though he knew he would be killing them because he couldn't stand the idea of them not doing it right or having a treating them. And in the film, there's a part where he says, you just try to make them feel like it's the best day in the world. They're going to live forever. You just try to be their absolute best friend because when they put them down, they actually put them to sleep literally first.
Yeah.
You give them a shot of something, they just fall asleep. Then there's the shot that stops the heart. So it's not like they just freeze up. But I remember I was shocked by how much everyone there had adopted. They all had like 10 dogs at home. They're like, every time a dog comes and we're gonna have to put it down, I can't stand to watch it. They would take another dog home and then try to give it to a friend. So I was really shocked,
Yeah.
like how much they care. So today you should go out, Go
adopt a dog.
Go adopt a dog. They have them every Saturday down Greenville, man. There's like 5 or 6 of them at every pet store.
Well, yeah, and the big Dallas Animal Shelter on
30, right?
Yeah,
That's DCA, yeah.
Those are the best dogs. They're such sweet dogs. I
hope
would have
that
taken
John Wick
home
did some good
4,
by-
but my roommate would kill me.
Yeah. I hope John Wick did some good. That everybody watched that, and their wives all looked at them, and they were like, "We're adopting a dog tomorrow." So, I'd like to. Would that make you feel better if you found out in real life millions of dogs got adopted because
That was what broke my heart about Finding Nemo. Is apparently like after the movie came out, there was this influx of children flushing their fish down the toilet, and I was like,
Oh my god.
Well, there was a movie too where like a bunch of I can't remember what it was, but people all went out and bought baby alligators from this movie, and then of course a year later, all these sewers in like Chicago and New York are clogged up with all these dead baby alligators, and like, don't go. They're like, that's a horrible pet. Don't go do this you saw in a movie, you know. So yeah, apparently when a movie comes out and has a unique animal, those get adopted, and people don't learn how to take care of them. So
shocking that
Yeah.
the American population would do something like that.
well, I
Wait,
think
we're going to do something, and then we're going to learn about it and figure out we probably shouldn't have done that.
There's no learning in America. We're not gonna Thanks, Obama. Why? It's funny to blame him for everything. You know, he was the one he called up the guy from John Wick, and he's like, "You better kill that dog if you're going to go over
my
there."
gosh.
And they're like, "Geez, Obama, that's how we were just going to take his car." He's like, "No, bust up his TV and kill the dog." So, for the people that like to vilify. Okay.
There you go.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have on Uneasy Pilgrims, and they're going to play a few songs for us today, right? I'm very excited about this. All right. Well, I say we just cut to the logo and swap everything around. What? We're gonna need a song playing, so I think I'm gonna do the DuckTales theme song.
Tiptoe
okay?
through the tulips.
What is Tiptoe Through?
You
said
don't
this the
ever
other
play
day. All right. What
Tiny
is?
Tim.
Oh, fine. God damn, we're gonna do Tiny Tim today.
Good choice. Good choice.
Oh, I hate. You know how many times I heard this as a kid? All right, we're doing the Johnny Carson version. I can't believe I'm gonna play this. My dad
This
is
is
a big Tiny
penance.
Tim fan.
For making us watch a movie, but they killed the dog.
Well, if they had played that song over that scene, it would have been such a drastically different scene.
I just want to say at this point that you guys are talking about the visceral reaction of dog killing in this movie, and every time I hear Tiny Tim butcher the ukulele, I think basically it's the same thing.
Yeah, to you.
You know,
it hurts.
yeah, he's just
Deep down in your
killing
soul.
the community of ukulele players
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
world.
It's true.
Emmeline, what would it be worse if, after they kill the dog, if like let's say he's in the restaurant and
This
he's
is the
shooting all the
worst
people,
game ever.
and then like at one point he just turns around and there's like a little kid there, like a little 4-year-old. He's like, "Hey, mister," and he just punches the kid in the face. Would that be better or worse?
What is it like inside your head?
I don't even know. I spend so little time in here.
There's nobody wants to be
I
upset.
don't listen to half of what I say, and who knows?
Oh man.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break with goddamn Tiny Tim. A fun time, good show on Deep Bellow on Air.